Don't get back to the car for me and handcuffs, but with my pants up. I can't wait to get it. I think they Trying to be on the low, but you ain't slow. Keep my shirt open, eyes low. Get a lot of people I know, but you ain't into that. You like real facts. Like if you show love, you gon' get it back. Like if you good, you gon' get it back. Like if you run a real that, go around town. Like we gon' go and get around the room. We gon' do for one night and gotta jump the broom. Say it, chill. Baby, come give me some. Baby, come give me some. Just like something out of a magazine. You smell great when your body clean. It's been money since you was a teen. Now you grown up, and now I'm boss. I'm just showing love. Smell like push when I'm pulling up. So much fake, I can hold it up. It's so good that you're calling up. Try to kick it with it, the light. Oh, baby, come give me some. Baby, come give me some.
So I can see my preview.
You should be right here with me, babe. Stand alone and just when our time stop messing around. All alone here, there's no one to get. Won't you stay because I love you so? Tell me if you're ready. Why you oh my heart, oh you baby, stay and you will see my heart. Oh you baby, never leave, 'cause I need you, my love. Sweet love, every cry, and always be all that you need. Just trust. We're feeling heavenly. Baby, I'm leaving in love. You know shit on love, sweet love. Don't you know I go away? We'll always be this way. In this world, I'm no good. I'll never go and say, get you wrong. Don't you know this is where you belong? Stay right here. Never, never out you. You need, where will you go? Baby, I'm leaving she got the man oh, hey, never been paid. She got a dick all strong, so good with you. Somebody gonna fall in love tonight. And I hope you makes me love tonight. DJ Winifred is DJ Kelly, don't come and we don't look much stronger. AKA you the best, better, let's go. She got the man oh, hanging from me, never moving. She got a dick all strong, so good with you. Somebody gonna fall in love tonight. And I hope we make sweet love tonight. God gave you everything just for me. You gave so long, like you make me feel so right. You shine see people, oh, it's so man and lady. Cause I'm not right, you're the best thing. So good, strong. Somebody gonna fall in love tonight. It's things I said in this second night. God gave you just create so long. God make me feel so right. God gave you just create so long. God make me feel so right.
Testing, testing. Hello and good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Come on, a little more energy. How y'all doing tonight? Y'all doing all right? Good. How many of you is your first time here at 7th Grove? Okay, well, welcome. We're going to do the welcome song. No. But thank you so much for coming. This means a lot to us and obviously to our community. And welcome to Healing While Black, just a mental health panel discussion that we're going to have. We hope to really shine a light on a lot of subjects. Obviously, there's some things that we won't be able to really dig into, but this is going to be, I would assume, more of a surface conversation. But we have a great panel of professionals here who I'll have Dr. Johnson introduce. And we just want to say thank you so much. Again, my name is Dr. Jamaris Glenn. I'm one of the co-owners of 7th Grove. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming and supporting us today and supporting this initiative. It's very hard for our community to talk about mental health. And so the fact that you just showed up today was, a big step, right? So we just asked just one small, housekeeping rule is we just ask that conversations kind of be at a minimum so we can hear the people speak. Just respect the room. If you do want to dine and eat and vibe, you're more than welcome to go to the restaurant side. Same vibe over there, okay? Thank you so much, and I'm going to introduce the man of the hour, Dr. Jeffrey Johnson.
Good evening, everyone. Come on, we need energy. We feed off of that. Good evening, everyone. Let's try it one more time. Good evening, everyone. That's a good place to clap your hands. And let's celebrate each other. Would you celebrate the person that's next to you? All right, we're here. We've survived so many different things. And there are so many persons that you know that are not here today because of what has happened over the last 16 months in our world. So you are all blessed. When Dr. Glenn came up earlier, there was no applause for him, and I need to make sure we do it right and thank 7th Grove, Dr. Bond, Dr. Glenn, Leah, thank you so much for your hospitality. All right, are y'all ready for this? We're going to dive into some topics tonight that are taboo and seldomly addressed amongst minority families. And I'm believing that the conversation, the organic and raw conversation that we're going to have tonight is really going to change the minds and the hearts of so many people. Because perhaps you're going to say something tonight that someone has been feeling, did not know how to express, and tonight they'll get their emotional and healing release. So I was going to introduce you, but I think that it's better that you introduce yourself. So turn on the microphone. We're going to start at the end with Val Trenda. Just introduce that 30-second elevator speech so everyone that is watching and everyone that is here will know who you are and how they can connect with you even after this is over with.
Wow, that was a lot. Good evening, everyone. My name is Val Trenda. I am a counselor and master life coach as well as an author here in the Tampa Bay and surrounding areas. My services are virtual and not one-on-one because, there's still a little space, But my services are virtual. I'm online. You can find me at valtrenda.net.
Thank you. That's a great place to clap right there. I'll give you cues. Don't worry about it.
Good evening. My name is Tiffany Reddick. I am a licensed professional counselor, board certified coach. I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia. I own Flourish Therapy Bar and Savvy Light Group, which is our consulting arm. I specialize in work-life balance and sexual health and wellness for profit, purpose, and performance-driven millennial women.
All right. That's a great place to clap right there.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Natasha Pierre. I am a mental health coach. But for the purposes of tonight's conversation, I am a peer. I'm someone who lives with several mental illnesses: bipolar disorder type 2, post-traumatic stress, and generalized anxiety. And I'm here to be as transparent as you need me to be so that when you walk out of these doors, you are equipped to face your tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a moment, sir.
I am also the executive director of the Hillsborough County affiliate of the National Alliance on Mental Illness.
Yes, she is. I'm Dr. Shanae. I'm the executive director of Community Victory Family Services, where we provide individual, couples, and family counseling to our community, which is our focus. We work with folks with a range of demographics. We ensure that quality mental health services are available and affordable and accessible. So we provide in-person sessions and video sessions, and you can find us at www.communityvictory.com.
Thank you. Would you celebrate all of our panelists tonight? Let's get right into this raw and organic conversation. Growing up in many minority communities, especially African American, it was frowned upon for many persons to talk about their traumatic experiences, their emotions. We're taught to sweep so many things under the rug. Why do you think, panel tonight, why do you think that it's taboo to seek mental health therapy in African American and Hispanic communities? I know it's loaded, right? Unpack it.
Okay, so from one perspective, first of all, a lot of minorities don't recognize the trauma that they've experienced is trauma. It's just survival. So when you're in survival, you don't have time to lick your wounds. You have to keep going. You have to keep pushing. Many of us are familiar with what happens in here stays in here, and to some degree that's protective, and so it's also survival. No one out here is going to go into a new setting and tell someone they don't know their most vulnerable weaknesses. You're just not going to do that. It doesn't set you up for survival. There's a whole lot more I can unpack in that space, but I want to give the rest of the panel the opportunity.
But you said something before you get away with the mic. I want to make sure this definition is defined. We've heard it. What does trauma mean? I know.
Woo! Okay, so trauma is basically the experience of something that is incredibly distressing to the individual. Understand this, it is individualized.
Yes.
It is unique and is totally subjected to that individual's resources, their unique giftings, talents, resources, skills, history, all of that. So we can all experience something like 9/11, and some of us won't be traumatized, right?
Right.
So it's important to recognize that there's something that happens, and impact that happens. It jeopardizes, or there's a perception that someone's body integrity, their safety, their health, their life has been compromised. And therefore it leaves a lasting, disturbing impact on them in multiple dimensions: biological, psychological, emotional, relational, financial, legal. I could go on and on and on.
Sure. And what's so important, and Natasha, you can come, we can talk about why is it taboo in the African American community, but that is interesting that trauma is individualized based, that we cannot determine what someone else has experienced and the severity of how it has weighed on them emotionally. Why is it taboo?
It's taboo because in America, Black people aren't given space or time to heal. We are driving a
They're not given what?
space
They're not
or
given
time to heal.
Okay, I just want to make sure we heard.
So I liken it to having a Maserati. You've got to get to California, you got to drive there. But at the same time that you're driving your Maserati, highly valuable vehicle, to California, you're also working on the engine. So healing while Black means I've got to do the work while I'm still expected to perform, while I'm still expected to be the high-functioning professional, while I'm sitting here in 7th and Grove with high anxiety. That's what healing while Black is. It means that I still am expected to show up. And I don't get an opportunity to pause, to take a break, to catch my breath, to heal, to grieve, to deal, to process. I don't get that. And so our parents now, generation after generation after generation, aren't speaking to what we're feeling. They're trying to prepare us for this world that will eat you up and spit you out if you take a break. Because the moment I pause, there's someone to fill my seat.
Ms. Reddy, why is it taboo? That's correct, yes. Why is it taboo in the Black community?
In my practice, I'm really big on decolonizing mental health. And what that means is taking the whiteness, taking the westernization out of mental health. Because when we look at the practices, the modalities that we learn in school, they were not built on the Black experience. And so when you enter a space expecting to get help and you get harmed, or expecting to get help, and the social worker comes and knocks on your door and is asking about your children's welfare, it really, it pushes you away from the experience again. And so it's been taboo, and we've had to have things like what's happened in this house stays in this house as a means of survival. And also when we do go through the processes and they don't help us in the way that we need to be helped. Like I've had a client, and she told me all of these really stress-inducing incidents that had happened in a really short amount of time. And I asked her to pause, and I said, that's a lot. Like, how are you feeling? And she said, oh, I'm fine. And I said, well, you may feel fine, but I'm telling you that that's a lot, and I'm not trying to impart on your experience. However, being able to slow down and really check in with yourself, and had it not been me, had it been someone else, I won't say that they may not have caught it, but that superwoman syndrome runs real deep. And so having someone to be able to see that, pause and check in to make sure that you're really fine, that's a benefit. Like you can't get that in many other spaces other than BIPOC trained folks.
Thank you. Yeah.
Straight and simple, we can't really talk about what we don't know. So a lot of times our grandparents, great-grandparents, they just didn't know.
Right.
So it's taboo because it's strange. It's strange because we don't know. That's it.
Sure.
So I'm gonna go ahead and just throw that other thing out there that I haven't heard anybody say, but I know it's in the room, because we pray about things.
Just pray about it.
We just pray about things. We're
Spiritual
gonna go
life.
to the altar, and we're just gonna pray about that. And I'm a faith-filled woman. I can shout with the best of you. I can speak in tongues with the rest of you. So I'm not discounting the value of the spiritual value in the mental health process. But it is, so prayer is a communication. Therapy is a strategy, right? So in prayer, God can show you, you know what, you need to go work that out. And the therapist can help you get some tools to figure out how to get there. But for so long, the two industries have seen each other as opposition and haven't learned how to work together. And that's one of the things that's a barrier to the mental health. Because if you think about it, the pastor, he's a first responder for many. It's shifting. There's been a little bit of an exodus. But he has traditionally been the first responder in the Black community. That's where they go. And so we need to really figure out how to increase the conversation, not just amongst the professionals and not just among the hurting, but the other people who are triaging the hurting.
That's great. Even as an academician myself and as a pastor, I understand my levels and boundaries to say, I need to refer you to someone that is a clinician, someone that is more of a professional in this particular area. Is Dr. Kent Butler in the building? Is he here? Are you Dr. Kent? I heard that you're an amazing person. You're supposed to be on our panel with us tonight. So just come on up here really quickly as we're in our conversation. So just come up. So listen, now we've identified what trauma is, how we have allowed traumatic experiences, and even talking about our emotional trauma to be taboo in our community. What are those steps to identify, right? To surface, to bring up those problems. I know this is loaded, but I believe between all of you guys right here. Thank you. Yeah. Dr. Butler from Orlando, Florida. Let's welcome him. So now we have emerged all of these things. Where do I stop to identify that I need to address what has happened to me? What are some of those steps for a person? I know that's really loaded. You know, I'm talking to some professionals. What are those steps that we need to, just really acknowledge at this moment? Because all of us have something in our life that has hurt us. And I guarantee you, all of us have something that we have not disclosed. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. There's something that we're still wrestling with that. And that wrestle with that unspoken matter causes us to have effects in our relationships, how we spend money, how we treat other people, because there are a lot of things that we haven't dealt with, right? So how do we deal with it? How do we acknowledge it? And how do we start that process of healing? I told you it was loaded. We don't have that much time.
All right, so I'm going to simply put, generally when I say this, I hesitate to go down this. People start self-diagnosing, and that's not the goal here. Whatever you are doing is not working, it's time to do something else. And I would submit to you to consider a professional finally, if you have not. And if you have, and it wasn't working, it's just like a dentist and a PCP. Go find another one. You don't stop going to Target because the cashier messed up. You go to another register. So I would say that when it's not working, what you are doing is not working, when your truth, the stuff you don't tell, like you just said, is not clearing up with the things that you're doing, shopping, eating, smoking, sex, you just tell the truth. If those things are not helping, go get help.
I want to challenge every Black person to consider that you are a human being, to consider that your life matters, to consider that you have value, to consider that the love and care and grace that you have given to other people for so long, you're actually deserving of that. To consider that giving 6 months of your life to someone who can help you identify your blind spots and identify things that you now call your personality, or I'm just an Aries, I'm a middle child, that you have normalized and given.
That's that self-diagnosis right there.
Self-diagnosis. You have renamed your trauma to your zodiac sign, or to your birth order, or to that's just how I am and I'm an overachiever. No, you've renamed your trauma and your traumatic responses. And I just want to encourage you to pause and consider that the pain that you've been through, the things that you have been overlooked for, the times that you've been neglected, all of the hidden things that you have tucked away that you are tired of tucking, consider for a moment that you might be deserving of getting some help too. Let's just start there. Just consider, what if you are a human? What if you are valuable? What if the reason why you haven't been able to stay in a relationship is not because you are just a hothead, but maybe it's because of the things that you have been through and the times that no one stood up for you, that you are overcompensating by being a control freak and overcompensating by being uber independent. That's a traumatic response. Just consider that maybe you are worth the care that you give to other people.
Add to it, layers, it's layers.
I'm going to say hashtag squad goals. Just like we have, our squad, our people in our life, we need to consider having that with our professionals in our life. So you have your PCP, you have your dentist, you got your bikini waxer, you got your barber. Where's your therapist on the team, right? You don't have to have something wrong to go fit in front of that camera now, but or the couch or what have you, because there's all different types of therapists now. And so having that, because let me tell you, because when you really need it, when all that stuff does come up, when that relationship falls through, when you can't pick yourself up off the ground, it's 100 times harder to pick up the phone, find a good one, find a good fit, call all the people, who the insurance take, who they don't take, like how am I gonna fit this amount? It's so much harder. So just go ahead and build that entourage up and just have one. You only got to speak to them once a month. You can tell them, look, I'm not really sure if anything is wrong, but I want to have somebody that I can have this safe space. It is so valuable. It is so beautiful. I feel privileged to do it every day, to hold space for folks, because beautiful things happen when it's just about you. And so that's what I would like folks to
Hashtag squad goals.
Squad goals.
Those of you that are watching virtually, that's a great place for you, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, to just type that in the box, squad goals. Having that team around you to build support. Valtrinda.
Okay. First of all, I feel like I'm getting the help that I need. Counselors really need counselors, right? We have to have counseling. So I might have forgot the question because I was like, what did they say?
Just feed off what they did.
No, so the main important thing is our soul speaks to us. Our soul speaks to us. It speaks to us in how we behave. It speaks to us in how we speak, how we treat other people. So if other people are telling you that something is wrong, at some point in time, you have to go and look in front of a mirror. Right? So these are the first steps to start realizing I might need to speak with someone. And then the second thing is the little itty bitty pain that's been caused that you feel like little itty bitty. Sometimes if you don't pay attention to that, if you don't get it treated, what happens? It spreads. So it started out with a toe ache, and now it's an ankle, and now it's your knee, and now it's your entire leg, and then it works its way up. Right. So the first step is just to listen to other people. They'll tell you. People will tell you. And your soul will tell you. It comes out in your dreams. It comes out in how you love other people and how you respect other people. If your soul not feeling right, you're not really sleeping as much as you should be, that's a sign that you might need to go and speak to somebody.
Amazing. Hey, pass it down to Dr. Butler. Listen, at any time, if anyone has a question for our panel, just come stand over here. We will acknowledge you. We want to make sure that we are responding to you as our audience. And if there's a question online, Mr. Cameraman, if someone is online and they've typed in the question in the box, just let us know what that question is, and we'll allow our panel to address that question. Dr. Butler.
Well, Hotep, thank you all for allowing me this space. I knew this was a space for all women. I'm looking at all your nails, and my nails are not done. But
I feel bad that
I feel good.
I get manicures.
But they told me to own my stuff. So I come to you all from Orlando, but this space is important. It keeps me grounded in terms of where I need to go. I had a talk with God today on my drive down. A little bit of a more personal talk with God that I hadn't had in a long time. And when you asked that question, I thought about it in a way that really looked at my lifespan and where I am today. And I thank God today for where I am today. But I know that I've lived through some things. And counseling is one of those things that helped me work through all of that. But on my drive down today, I thought about my youth and how that sometimes I got picked on. And you talk about how you get defined and how you define yourself. And sometimes you define yourself by how others see you or how you allow others to dictate how you kind of orchestrate your own life. And when I was growing up, I had buck teeth. And I used to get called names about my teeth, and that didn't define me, but it really made me do some things, right? It affected how I smiled, or if I smiled, and I knew that. And I would go to the dentist, and I would ask, well, I want braces. And the dentist would say to me, this is someone defining for you your life, right? Oh, you don't need the braces. You're okay. Your teeth are fine. You'll grow into them, so to speak, right? But it always affected me. It always bothered me. And I have a 9-year-old daughter. She was 8 at the time, and she needed to have some braces put on her teeth to help them to come down properly. And I said to her, you know what? I always wanted braces. But I never had the opportunity to do that. And this is about self-care and taking care of yourself and all of that. And so I said, I'm going to go through this process with you. And so as you all can probably see, I have braces on my teeth. And here I am sitting at 60 years old, the president of the American Counseling Association with braces on my teeth because of past.
Wow.
And that's why counseling is important in the Black community. That's why we need to be able to seek out individuals who can help us find our place, find where we are supposed to be in this space and time. And it took me till 60, right, to get braces, but it was something that was channeling through me, always something that I wanted. But I used my daughter as my muse to be able to get to that particular spot. The importance of counseling is that we need people who are going to stand in the gap for us, who are going to let us find ourselves in a maybe an earlier spot in time, so that we can then go on and still find our promise, right? Find our destiny, but also do it in a sense where we can find the confidence in ourselves to be able to move forward. And so I don't know what's going to happen when these braces come off, if I'll smile differently or any of those other things, but I do know that it has given me a profound sense of being able to speak my truth and be vulnerable, and to be able to do that in front of people, especially to do that in front of people who look like me, who also understand that as a Black man, I have gone through things, and the challenges that people put on me, or things that have been put onto me because of society, those things are really important for us to be able to take time with the women who are here to speak. And I need all of y'all to be my counselors moving forward, but to also help me find my space in my time.
My mom had an 11th grade education, but she was a therapist, and I didn't even realize it. And you just brought up something that she said to me. I will never forget my 6th grade going to my 7th grade year. I wasn't much taller than what I am now, and I'm almost 40. And I got tired of girls saying, you're cute, but you're like my brother, and I don't see you like that because you're so small. And I never saw that in my family, that I was smaller than everyone else. So I'm thinking that a growth spurt is going to happen with me eventually, right? So I went home and I told my mom what everyone was saying, because now it built a complex in me about how small I was. And my mom said to me, son, I need you to look at me and I need you to look at your dad. Neither one of us tall, so the likelihood of you being tall is slim to none. So I need you to start loving yourself right now.
All right.
And so, when people start saying you're short, no, that's fine. There's a lot of stuff about you that you can change, but you don't. I can't change the way that I am. So listen, I have something loaded for all of you. So you have a question? Somebody has a question? Yes.
Thank you. I want to really appreciate you being here this evening. But if you can just help me in terms of what advice could we take back to our community, where we know so many of our young people is dealing with trauma. And we've seen it being played out in so many different ways, and they might not have be too afraid to step into this arena. If you could just speak to that, what could we do to take back to our young people? Thank you.
Could you address it from a male perspective?
I will.
Someone choose a female perspective, talk about you, okay?
Well, I think from a male perspective, it's helping, especially young men, find their voice. There are so many things that are pulling and tugging at individuals to do this and to do that. And they're not learning from maybe that family or that mentor who is really there to kind of help them become their best selves, right? And so the streets call them, or somebody else calls them, or drugs call them. We have to be able to stand in the gap and help them find themselves early. And again, that means taking some sacrifice and actually giving yourself of what you own and what you have to someone who needs it from you more than maybe you need it, right? So it's like shedding our selfish interior and stepping out. If we say that we want this world to be better, then we need to do something to help make that world better. It doesn't have to be financially inspired. It just has to be spending some time with someone to help them find themselves.
One person, yeah, whoever wants to.
This is gonna be tough, but I'm gonna say it. I think we have a lot of adults that are not parenting, but instead they are grown children, raising children through their trauma. And so they communicate with children based on what they went through. I mean, I didn't have to go through all of that. I dealt with bullies and I'm fine. I was beaten and I'm fine. Every child is different. And we have children growing up in a world that's significantly different from what we've been through. So the things that you were raised with in 1982 or 74 or 61 is not all the way applicable today. You've got to create a safe space for your children to tell you what's wrong, or they will find someone to communicate to.
Real quick, Valtrina, I know you said.
So the first thing we have to do, one of the things, in addition to what they said, is normalize it. Take it back to the community. You don't have a counselor? Child, you're missing out. Then that drops a seed, and when they're like, well, what am I missing out on? You have to normalize counseling. Like she said, Squad goes, you got a doctor, you got a nail salon, you don't have a counselor? What's wrong with you? That's part of normalizing. If all of us start doing that together, I have a counselor, I don't know about you, then it drops seeds, right? To where now all of a sudden, I think the second thing is, lastly, is to not be ashamed. We all have trauma. We all have gone through it. So we take the ashamedness off of the table, then we can help with it becoming normalized.
I'm changing the entire dynamic. So I need you guys to really follow me. And audience, I need you to hear me. I talked about this actually a couple of days ago, the Maasai tribe in Africa. They had a greeting with one another that instead of them dapping one another, throwing their head back saying, what's up, or hugging or embracing one another, they asked each other a question as a greeting. And the question was, how are the children? Maasai tribe in Africa. How are the children? I looked that up. It went deeper than asking about your posterity and the seed of your loins. But it actually meant, it translated into our English, is all well. That's the question. Is everything okay with you? Transparency. Is everything okay with you guys? Okay.
Absolutely not.
How are the children?
My children are, no.
That is translated to me is all well.
No. No, I don't know what else to say. No, because we go through things, we stressed out, I have businesses, full-time job, teenage children, that enough will take anybody out. And then you have houses, cars, bills. That's another thing. I don't like Bill. I don't know if y'all like Bill, but I don't like Bill. And that's enough to make me say no. Oh, no.
Tiffany, are you okay?
I'm okay, but I'm okay because I can admit that I'm not okay, if that makes sense. So I am well, but I work hard, so hard to be well. And had you asked me last week, the answer might have been no. But you know, I've got my support system with friends. When I wasn't great, I said, oh, stuff is coming up, stuff is coming back. Let me call up a therapist, let me find a new therapist, and did what I needed to do. There are still some things in my life that, like I'm gonna say, being careful with my words. My home is very messy, literally. I'm going through a renovation, and it really has like cluttered up my mind. I'm trying to confuse my career goals. I'm trying to navigate them, and I needed support. So I went and found it. So today, I could say all is well. But I worked really, really hard, and it didn't just start last week. I've been working on being well for going on 2 years because I had some chronic health stuff, including mental health, that I had to navigate from a holistic perspective, physical, spiritual, and all of that.
I want you to answer, but I want you guys to know the reason why I asked that question, because it's very difficult for me to hear someone give me advice if I cannot hear transparency through their conversation. I need to know that you struggle or have struggled with some of the emotional things that I've experienced, right? So I needed them to hear what's inside of you, because this conversation will break up thorny ground for persons to seek that squad goal example to start talking to someone. Are you well? 30 seconds.
I'm not. I'm sitting here with anxiety. Saturday is the full moon, and for anyone who works in law enforcement or mental health, you know that it's an interesting time. So I'm sitting here with high anxiety. My moods have been fluctuating for the last 3 days. I've lost 10 people under the last 2 years. I was septic in March and April, and I am tired of being on. I'm tired of putting on the lashes and the makeup and appearing like I'm fine. But I show up here today because what I'm going through is more important than me. I need all of you to leave here knowing that you've got to take care of yourself. So no, I am not fine today, but I know that I will be fine, because I'm gonna get I have some squad in the room, but no, I'm not fine. And it's my transparency. The reason why I keep telling people my story and being open about it is because I gotta normalize it. I gotta normalize that people can be living with bipolar disorder and anxiety and still be speaking to a panel. I want, last thing, to eradicate from the conversation high functioning. I'm not a high functioning person with bipolar disorder. I'm not high functioning with anxiety. High functioning takes away the empathy that I need. High functioning takes away the support that I need. I'm still a professional and I still need my squad. So no, I am not okay.
First step tonight.
Wow, what a question. So, I should have known. No, just kidding. I don't allow the words okay, good, and fine in my office because they're mask words that we use to keep people at a distance. And so I keep a feelings wheel on the desk, and we have to go into that to really get.
How does that make you feel?
That's right. And you can't tell me you don't know, because you don't pick the word on that wheel.
How does that make you feel?
So
I'm not a clinician, but I know that.
That's right. Yeah, you know, it's creepy. So in the space of where I am, I have been high functioning, right? We got to go there at some point. What is important to understand is, well, high functioning, high achieving people, regardless of what label you put, there comes pressure. So I have that, right? Dr. Shanae has a growing practice, struggling to find workforce, which means weight falls on my lap to get the bills paid, right? I have people doing inappropriate things with charges, right? I have a daughter who decided she wanted to go to New Orleans, and I think that was going to happen. I don't know who she was with right now. I want to know who she with, 21. So, we do life. We do life. I am getting better. I am a breast cancer survivor, which is why I am getting better actively. I'm a 5-year breast cancer survivor. 6-year breast cancer survivor. And I wrote a book called Fight with Faith, and that is the motto of my life. Today, I fight with faith. Round 2 of a new fitness plan. I'm mad that I can't eat what y'all eating, so no, I don't like it. But it's a part of my fight to be better. It's a part of my fight to get my body back. It's a part of my fight to be able to have level emotions and to trust my circle and to trust my staff. So these are all things that communicate, that come into my mind, and I have to figure out how to communicate through those things. Am I bad? No. Do I need my therapist? Yes. If you know one that takes Blue Cross Blue Shield that's really, really good, please send her my way. But the reality is, it's not. I don't think most of the therapists that I spend time with, we don't have a problem being transparent because we understand the value of that. It's, again, just like it is for you all, having a safe place to do. It's not a single one of us up here that didn't calculate what we were going to say. I'm watching my work. Nobody didn't calculate what we were going to say. Not that we're trying to hide anything, but again, what's the impact of what's coming out my mouth? Is how is it going to help? How's it going to hurt? What misperception might be there? So transparency amongst helping professionals is not generally the issue. It's really understanding the atmosphere that you're in and the appropriate voice for that space.
So you asked if I'm okay.
How are you?
How are the children? I'll start by saying that I'm not okay, but I'm going to be okay. And that every day I suffer from continuous traumatic stress disorder. I don't know if you all know what that is, but as a Black man, every day I walk out of my home, I know I'm a Black man. Every space I walk into, I know I'm a Black man. And I share this to let you know that the visceral reactions I have every day, because I come into spaces with people who I don't know want to hug me or kill me. And I have to live with that. I have to go into spaces and office spaces and work environments and a grocery store and deal with that. On January 6th, I didn't want to leave my home because of what I was seeing on TV in DC, and I was in Orlando, because I didn't know if I go to Publix, whether there would be someone there who was willing to climb a wall to break into the Capitol in Florida. And so I suffer every day from continuous traumatic stress disorder. When I hear a police siren, the visceral reaction I have learned to distinguish between a police car, a fire engine, and an ambulance. That is how my life is on a daily basis. And if I know that I am dealing with that, who amongst us is also dealing with that? And I know that Black men hold that in. I know that I held it in until I was able to speak and give it voice and not let it have power over me. But I suffer from continuous traumatic stress.
Thank you. We're going to take your 2 questions, and then we're going to ask Dr. LaDonna Butler just to give us seeds on how do we heal while being Black. And then we'll give some final words and we'll be done in the next few moments, but we definitely want to take your question.
Greetings, guys. I'm Mary Scott, and I'm 17. So nice to meet you guys. Thank you guys for being here. So this is what I've been trying to figure out as of now, which I feel like as you get older, it progresses and gets worse. But you know, those little traumas that you guys mentioned, I had big traumas that I focused on. And as I've been trying to dissect, I noticed that with emotion, you have attachments. Like you said, has it been eating or smoking or something? I noticed that in my healing journey, it's always been, whether it's through love or sadness, that has been a constant attachment, and it changes. And I notice them, but it's like an endless rabbit hole because I want to speak. But when I go to the schoolhouse and I want to speak, they're always trying to make it seem like I'm crazy. They've been doing it for so long. We want to talk, but nowadays, especially in my life, I noticed that having friends at this in this era is very hard. Because if I want to tell you my personal life and how I'm feeling, I have to fear that those around me is going to know about it. So it's like you're growing more trauma with trust issues, and it's like it's building on, and it's like these attachments are helping, but they're not. So it's like you try to do things like meditate and stuff and try to clear your mind, but it's like I don't get it. I don't know how I can be free of these attachments. I don't know who I can talk to, and I don't know.
Thank you for being vulnerable. You're brave. You're 17. Are you two together? That's your daughter. Thank you, Mom, for bringing her tonight. No. Stay right there. Mom, just wrap your arms around her and let her know how much you love her. We never know what a person's experiencing or facing, even our children, because they put up the smiles and they block us from out of what is affecting them. Val, I'm asking you to respond because you have teenage children. And I just want you to speak into her.
So the main thing is, first, I do want to thank you for being so open, because that's you deserve an award for that. Because I was, 17. We think that these children are just into music and fame and Instagram and social media, and we look over the fact that they are screaming for help. They're screaming for help. And so my first suggestion would be to find a safe place. We all have made mistakes, and some of your friends have made mistakes at, being loose mouth and things like that. And so the number one thing is to forgive. When you talk about attachments, the hardest thing in forgiveness is the attachment from the action to the pain. That connection of the action and the pain makes it hard to forgive. So that's number one, right? And then find you some people, friends, adults, mentors, who you can trust and allow them to pour into you. She just said it, doctor just said it, if it don't work, find another one. But the first thing is, you made the first two steps, is already admitting it, and then stepping out and screaming for help. So the next thing would be to find a safe place to be able to express that.
I just have to say, in this climate of today, this circle right here is almost a unicorn. To have a child, to have her mother and father next to her. That's not seen as much these days. So I need you, daughter, to feel that level of embrace that's coming from your right and your left. From a man and a woman that's your parents, but they're cohesive and they're working together to make sure that you're well. And I think it's very important, as we discussed this earlier, but we did not use this phraseology. We have to learn how to do life with each other. That I have to learn how to intentionally exist with you, because I don't want you to live in a singular environment. We miss out on so many things when we try to do it by ourselves. You need a squad. You need a faith community. You need people connected to you that will help you, because any person that seemingly tries to do life by themselves have already failed because you're singular. Dr. Butler, help us. Healing While Black, just something real quick. For those of you that are interested in St. Pete, starting tomorrow through Sunday is an amazing conference entitled Healing While Black that Dr. Butler is leading, and many of these ladies and gentlemen will be a part of that panel this weekend. We're sending hugs to you. Would you clap for this young lady again? How brave she is.
And thank you so much. Thank you all for being here. Marquis Scott, thank you so much for bringing your family out. We see you. I only want to leave with this thought that we are here to receive and get ready for an amazing weekend. Hey, Lola. We're getting ready to focus intentionally on what does it mean to heal while Black. So today we had an amazing time. Hey, Ann. Amazing time thinking about what is it to use the creative as a creative, connecting my healing and wellness journey to the expression of oneself through the art. Then we came here in good celebration of all things Blackness here at 7th and Grove. We began to talk about the ways in which we anchor our faith, our family, our community, and the way that we show up for each other. And so I am so pleased now, tomorrow, all those things that we just talked about, these micro traumas and as she said, like these major impacts that shift the way in which we see the world and the way we engage the world. Tomorrow, we're going to spend some time in that. And we're going to spend some time thinking about, well, what are those things that we are now resilient in? Things that we are now displaying active resistance in as a healing strategy. Our resistance is a healing strategy. What are the things and what are the strategies that we're using to experience and express joy as a legacy? My friend Tiffany's going to talk about that over the legacies of leisure. And at the end, we're going to celebrate with each other. So if you are not registered, you are welcome. We're going to have a good Black time, from the first morsel of grits and eggs and sausage and fish, all the way to digesting good spiritual food together. And then we'll have time together in the arts where my friends Sadi and Brittany will have an opportunity to demonstrate their art with you. Raise your hands, Sadi and Brittany. Raise your hands, yeah. The folks that are on the screen, Miss Lola, we're sending her love, but she has been planning a beautiful textured conversation. Raise your hand, Lola. And then we got Dr. Tosh in the back, who will be leading us through the water as we reclaim space in the water through our fitness. My sister in the ministry back here is going to make sure that she sends folks to make sure that we are all properly greeted. This is what the healing strategy looks like, us showing up in the way in which we are supposed to. So that was my 2 cents and advertisement, and not just advertisement, a real welcome. Sunday, we're ending. And we're going to end in a few ways. One way is through our survivors brunch. So if you have been impacted by crime and violence, we want to brunch with you. We want to love on you. We want to invite you to community. We want to church with you. So either virtual, online, or in person, we want you to engage your spirit. And then we're going to celebrate on the deuces. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Butler. And if you want more information, please see her after this is over. We have about 3 minutes. Quickly, final thoughts. No, start there, and then we'll make sure everyone speaks.
My final thought would be to piggyback off of what Tiffany said and get yourself a squad. I want to destroy the idea that you cannot afford it, that you cannot find it. That although COVID came and created some disruption to how we do things, disruption takes you off of autopilot. And it really requires you to rethink what you do. And as therapists now, most of us are doing telehealth. So you don't have to be 5 minutes away from the therapist that you identified online that you feel most connected to. You can get therapy, get a squad. You don't have to necessarily pay a whole lot of money out of pocket. There are funds and foundations out here now that are helping to bridge the gap so that you can afford therapy. I know I do sliding scales and we use interns so many of us are becoming very creative in order to ensure that you get quality mental health services by someone that looks like you and understands you.
30 seconds, okay. I'm going to echo. I think the hashtag for the night is squad goals. And I want to speak specifically to the Black woman that I see. I am not your enemy. I am not your competition. I am your squad. I need you to be as comfortable asking me about a therapist as you are about asking me what lashes I'm wearing. Because I'm going to tell you both. My heart's desire is for us to be well. And sometimes, as Dr. Johnson said, you can't do it in a silo. You can't do it by yourself. You need a squad. So find your squad.
In all things, self-compassion first, right? You are doing the best that you can, and every day that best may look a little different. But start there. Start there with acknowledging that you made it up today, that you here, wherever here is, and that that's enough for right now. And when you can do more, you will do more. And that also allows us to be compassionate to the other folks in our lives and create that ripple that allows us to feel the love that is just waiting for us to open up. So trust yourselves, know that you're doing the best that you can, and we see you, and we're here for you.
So my final thoughts are just words. Forgive, love, heal. Forgive, love, and heal. Forgiveness is linked to sickness because you're holding crap in your heart that somebody did to you that they don't even remember. You know, heal. You don't want that sitting in your soul, right? And love, my God, just show love and be open to receive it.
I guess what I would say is just give yourself permission. Permission to be yourself and to find out who you are, live your best life. There's so many people who are here to try to take away from you, but find promise in yourself. That's the self-care. That's part of taking care of yourself and taking care of your community. You can't take care of yourself if you don't allow yourself to love yourself. And like when that mask comes down in a plane, that you're supposed to take care of yourself first. So take care of yourself. The people around you will be able to survive, but they won't if you're not there. So give yourself permission.
Would you celebrate all of our panelists tonight and the amazing conversation that we've had? Thank you for being here. In conclusion, I will tell you these three things. It is not fatal, it is not final, and you are not finished. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching online. Heal because you can. Thank you so much.
For being a friend. Travel down the road back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party, didn't like everyone to do, you would see the things that would be